Welcome back into G5 Classified. Joining the show today, I gotta say, probably the most impressive week from a G5, impressive win and week from a G5 program. We bring in head coach of UNLV football, Barry Odom. Coach, what's happening, man? How are you?
What's up, fellas? Great to see you, man. Thanks for having me on, and excited always to have a chance to visit with you guys and represent our program and our players and all the things that we're trying to get done here.
Yes, sir. No, you got to holler at me off the top. You lost a all conference caliber quarterback a year ago. You reload with Matthew Sluka, bring him from Holy Cross. Like, what was your confidence level going into last week? 20-point win on the road against a Big 12 opponent. What was the confidence level with this team this year?
Yeah, as you know, every team's so different. And I thought that what we had done in not only the development of our program with the guys returning on our roster, but also some new additions, I thought we had a chance of being solid. And it's all unknown going into week one. We know that. The in-game adjustments are so huge. I liked our plan going into it. I didn't really know what we were going to get on the other side because I believe Houston had 67 or so newcomers with their new coach. So we did so much off-season work on where the coordinators were from, where the new players were from, and really trying to find out, what they were going to look like. I know Coach Fritz is a really good coach, got a lot of respect for him. But our guys, we had an unbelievable June, July, and August, and I knew we were ready to go play. We were game ready. I didn't know that we would be able to control the line of scrimmage the way that we did on both sides of the ball. That was the key to the game. And then, we left a lot of things out there point-wise. We got early in the third quarter, 24-0, and I told the offense, I said, do not throw the ball. Don't put it in the air. Keep it on the ground. We've got this thing under control. Let's get out of here. And our kids played really, really well we tackled well early. Game one, we tackled well. We had minimal, we had 2 penalties that brought back explosive plays, which is frustrating, but we'll learn from those. That it was a really good start for us, and the way that our schedule lays out, it's going to be a gauntlet on where it could be good really every single week.
Yeah, and you got to holler at me real quick. Jackson Woodard, this reminds me of throwback 2014 Tank Jakes level performance that he had. I know you remember that.
What a stat line, man. Yeah,
11 total tackles, 7 solo, 3 sacks, 4 TFLs, and a PBU. Good Lord.
He was a monster. And, the great thing is he prepares like it's his Super Bowl every single week. And he played for me when I was at Arkansas. He was a walk-on there and ended up deciding that he needed a new change of scenery, and we were fortunate to get him. He could have gone a lot of places because I think people saw the value of what kind of person he was and what kind of player he could be. And preseason, he's our the Mountain West Player of the Year preseason wise. So I think off to a great start, and he's just scratching the surface. He's going to be he'll be so productive this year. He's the heart and soul of what we're doing on defense, and he would have fit in really good to that 2014 Memphis defense for sure.
Coach, 48 rushing attempts, 4.1 yards a pop. You kind of talked about it a little bit, but can you speak to the amount of effort and intensity it takes up front to do that in the ball game, especially the first game of the year when people are still getting into shape? Can you talk about how in shape your guys are and how they finish the ball game off for you?
That is, I'm glad you brought that up because there was a lot of noise nationally about Notre Dame playing at A&M and what went into that on, the hydration levels, the electrolytes, and all the things, because a team from the north going to the south and playing and what that looked like. And, I don't think Notre Dame had any cramps and so some of those things. Well, we were the same way. It's hot in Vegas. It still is hot. It's probably 110 out right now, but we don't have any humidity. And everybody says, it's 112, but it's dry heat. Well, damn, it's still hot now. 112 is 112. So, but I was a little bit concerned about that. But I also believe in what we did in June, July, and August. I believe that game for us was won long before we stepped into the arena. I believe it was done on the training and the way that we practice. The things that we put our team through June, July, and August in fall camp on 2 spotting practices, on making sure that the number of the rep volume was where it needs to be, that we could go execute at a high level. And then it goes back to our kids. They embraced that. They understood, and they think, and they believe, and I do too, that we practice as good or better than everybody in the country. And there's a lot of statistical analysis that goes into that on the reasons why, but it showed up. We didn't have one guy cramp. They had guys starting in the second quarter that were doing that. And I think if you can establish the line of scrimmage and we could keep leaning on people, our offensive line coach and Vance Vice does a great job. And really they established it up front that, you know, a 4.1 yard average, if you're running at a 4-yard clip, usually the result for us, you're going to end up breaking one. And, you know, just keep getting first downs, just keep moving the sticks. We incorporated some quarterback run into that, which helped us. And then defensively took control of the game on the line of scrimmage as well.
Yeah, shout out to Vance Vice, by the way. Shout out, man. No one's ever drowned in sweat. You gotta live by that. He used to have that as a poster on the old Memphis O-line room there. Hashtag tough wins to this day. I still see it in his bio on Twitter or X, whatever you call it.
Yeah. Do you still wake up at night in the middle of the night listening to him coach you or
oh
teach
yeah,
you?
no. The night I don't necessarily wake up. Those are called nightmares. You usually stay asleep through them.
Yeah,
no, holler at me, transfer quarterback, man, Matthew Sluka. I mean, because to be honest with you, here's the truth of it. Kyron put me on him. I mean, he said, because Kyron came from the FCS level when he, sort of followed all these programs, and he comes from Holy Cross, Matthew Sluka. So like what ultimately went in when Jaden left for USC? What's the process like to go find a guy like that at the FCS level? Is it immediate, or do you do a bunch of film study and finally decide, hey, let's offer this guy, see if he wants to come?
Well, Coach, this is kind of my question too, so I'll throw a little bit more in there. Personnel-wise, like, how do y'all even get to that point where you're like, hey, we're going to go look for a guy from Holy Cross?
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
The portal with the NIL situation, it's bonkers right now. It's the wild, wild west. So having the personnel staff that can go find diamonds in the rough like that are more important than ever.
I think you look at both really good questions, and that's deep analysis on what it really is, because, I don't want to lose any players, but if we do, our charge as a staff is we're going to go find a way to upgrade that position. There are good football players everywhere. And if you believe in the principles of the philosophy of recruiting on, let's find somebody that is a fit for us physically on what we're going to ask them to do. They've also got the factors that we're looking for at that position. Then let's go find them, let's go recruit them, and let's find a way to get them to say yes. We've had a lot of success on transfers coming to UNLV. And, Vegas is a really good spot to end up finishing your career, in my opinion. So we're a high school recruiting team. We've signed 48 high school kids, but we've also have been very select, direct, and aggressive in the transfer market. We're going to continue to do that. So when we knew Jaden Maeva was going to USC, we took every quarterback that was in the portal and started evaluating them. And we ended up getting 2 guys out of the portal, both FCS guys. Haj Malik Williams from Campbell University is on our roster as well. And then Matthew Sluka, as you mentioned. And it was great competition throughout fall camp on who was going to be our starter. And then we had the guy that was a backup last year, Cam Friel, that stayed in the program. So I do believe we've got 3 quarterbacks on our roster that we can play winning football with. And you guys both know how important it is. If you've got a quarterback, you got a chance in every game. And if you don't have a quarterback, good luck. It's really hard.
Right. You can have dogs all over the rest of the field. You got 4 and 5 stars everywhere, and you're still going to come up short. Now, like when it comes to like your off seasons, and I know we're in season, and we're moving forward here. We see ball played every weekend, but when it comes to the off season, how much more intricate is it? How much more of your time is taken up on trying to manage your roster, keep guys on campus, do that type of thing than it was in the past when you're at Mizzou, you're at Arkansas, you're at Memphis? How much more goes into it?
Percentage-wise, obviously it's changed. It was a very, very high percentage this year. From the time our bowl game was over last year until we're sitting here today, the daily roster management piece takes up an overwhelming amount of time. We had some really good players on our team last year, so that they had opportunities to go other places. And we were able to keep the high majority of them, which was a credit to our assistant coaches and what we've got going here culturally. And then you look at, okay, we've got an open spot and how you manage your roster. If we have a senior leave or going to be senior, a junior classification, I want to find somebody that fits that spot with the same eligibility left. So your roster breakdown from seniors to freshmen, you don't get out of whack and have 1 year where you've got 37 seniors. So there's a lot of work that goes into that, the personnel, the roster management. We don't have a very big staff here. We don't. We've got our 10 assistant coaches. We got GAs, got a couple of analysts on either side. Our recruiting department is a department of 2. But we're going to make it work. And I don't want to hear excuses about, we don't have enough people. We got plenty enough people. You got to be organized. You got to be direct. You got to find out who fits in your system. And then you go get them. And let's go out recruit people, which we can do here.
Yeah, Coach. The saying goes, a surgeon likes to start cutting. He likes to start his day cutting. I'm a guy that likes to start my day watching film, right? So I'm watching film all summer. I'm working through my wide receiver scouting chart. And I get to a guy by the name of Ricky White. And I turned that film on, and I couldn't believe what I saw, especially at that level. And even though, I'm an FCS kid, I played G5, so I know there's a ton of talent there, right? But he's a guy that I think has like top 50, top 75 draft potential. Can you talk a little bit about what kind of player he is?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The things that he does every day in practice. It's amazing when your best players are also your hardest workers. And we've got that in Ricky White on offense. Jacob DeJesus was a returning All-American for us. And then defensively, Jackson Woodard, which was mentioned early. Ricky had 1,500 yards last year. And I think he's one of the elite receivers in all of college football. I think he'll be, if stays healthy and continues to do the things that he does every day, I think he'll be a opportunity to be a first-day draft pick. He's that talented. Elite work ethic, a wonderful leader, was voted as a captain by his teammates, and every single day you're going to get his best. And I don't even have to worry about what are we going to get out of Ricky today in practice, because it's going to be whatever the level and the standard of the expectation is, he's doing it every single day. And I can't say enough good things about what he does every day for our program, and then on game day, how special and elite he is.
Yep. Now holler at me about the funds and the donations rolling in with the success you've seen. Are we moving away from riding bulls named Widowmaker to try to get that money all raised, or do we have anything else up our sleeve there, or what?
I did that for good reason. I will do anything for my players and our team. Right. Except I will not ever get on a bull again. That was foolish. That was bad. I hurt for a couple of weeks after that. The left shoulder still is a little messed up.
Did they have you following the finger or what?
I did a lot of things after I left. Mostly was sit down with a small shot glass and try to get through the evening.
Right.
We had practice that next day. But I used it as an example for our team. We slow motioned it and watched it, and everybody made fun of me. And but I got my tail up off the ground. I was hurting, but I got up. So we used it as a toughness video as well. We've got 2.5 million people here in the city. It's very, very supportive of our program. They understand what it takes, and I am a believer in the NIL world. You can either embrace it, and it can be a big part of what you're doing, or you can try to run away from it, and it's going to catch up with you. I'm all in. We're embracing it. The city has done the same thing for us, and we're in a really good spot.
Your collective starting to move in the right direction?
We're trending up. Yes, sir. And if you guys would like to make a donation, I'll make sure I got the correct people I'll get my people in touch with your people.
We'll put the link in the bio under this podcast.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Coach,
I found out a long time ago, guys. I'm a lot better coach with really good players. So that's the name of the game.
Yeah. Coach, as a former player, I know we were always taught not to look too far ahead, right? As a coach, you kind of have to do the same thing. But with the new implementation of the 12-team playoff, the group of 5 has a guaranteed slot now, right? Or could have a guaranteed spot in the future. How soon do you see UNLV working themselves up to a program that should be a realistic goal?
Well, I look at the group of 5, however we want to label it, we better have a spot in that 12 team, because at the end of the year, the Mountain West champion every single year, there's nobody in the country that really wants to play them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back in history, I know, Gabe, when in 2014 at the end of the year, nobody would have signed up to come play us. I guarantee it. And so you look at those things, we know that our margin of error is 0. We've got to be right every single week. You do that with the schedule that we have. We had Houston. Week 3, we have Kansas. I'm not even going to get into the Mountain West Conference. I'm still talking non-conference. We play
Right.
Syracuse, comes here. We go to Oregon State. And then, oh, by the way, you got Fresno, you got Boise, you got San Diego State. You got everybody in the Mountain West that you've got to play every single week. So at the end of the year, okay, if we're still standing in championship weekend, the first weekend in December, then absolutely whoever wins that game the first week in December should be in that 12-team slot. I believe, and I don't want this to sound arrogant, I'm just very, very convicted in what I believe in. I think UNLV is in a position on a national stage to have a program that makes noise nationally every single year. That's my goal. That's the aspiration. That's where we've set the standard. That's what we're working for every single year.
Yep. Now, speaking of that standard, this is what's insane to me. And I think we've had a couple of conversations about this in the past, but since 2000, you're the 6th coach at UNLV, and 9 wins was what you got to last year. I think the last time, the last time UNLV got to 9, 10, 11 wins was 1984 when they were playing like Cal State Fullerton at that moment. What went into you ultimately taking that job? Because you sort of look at all the guys that came before you, and a lot of these guys didn't really ever get another shot at head coach. So it's kind of a scary proposition, sort of looking at what came before you and how long they lasted and the success that they did not have. And we know UNLV doesn't have a super long track record with success on the football side of things. What went into taking that job and ultimately making it successful, knowing you could make it successful when you ultimately took it?
Well, I think there's a number of things that go into it. I was really happy at the University of Arkansas as the defensive coordinator. For my ego, I didn't need to be a head coach again. I wasn't searching for that, but I did have some opportunities. The 3 years I was there as a defensive coordinator, I had some opportunities of people that called and wanted to talk to me, and I wanted the right fit. I wanted the right time. I wanted for it all to be aligned to get back in the chair. Number one, it starts with administration. Number 2, I think you have to have an opportunity in today's world to be in a position that you can attract NIL dollars. Las Vegas can do that. We've got a really strong administrative team in Eric Harper as the director of athletics. I had been in Vegas the years I'd been an assistant coach in recruiting, so I'd seen the facilities. I knew that we played in Allegiant Stadium. I knew there were opportunities there. Okay, I didn't really look too much in the past, in the history. And really when I got here, started studying it, they averaged 3 wins a year for the last 39 years. And that's obviously scary. Okay, we won 9 games last year. And you're right, 1984 was the last time that they won anywhere equal to that. 2013 was the last bowl game they had been to. They had never won a conference championship. I look at that as opportunity because the infrastructure things were here that you could go have success. And especially now for me is the way how I think you can build a roster every single year. There aren't any rebuilding plans anymore. To me, it's immediate. It's now on the way that you can restructure a roster. So when I found out that this job was open and they reached out and contacted me, I was excited about it. I thought they had a chance to do some special things because of the way that college football is now aligned on how you can build a roster, the opportunities of what we had here resource-wise to be able to build things. And I guess I was just hard-headed enough to think we could go get it done.
Last one for me, Coach, and we'll get you up out of here. But the clock rules, man. You're going into year 2 of this. I've talked to a ton of coaches about it. I talked to Coach Rich Rodriguez up here in Jacksonville. He said he didn't give a damn, but I talked to other coaches who hated it. How do you feel about the clock rules? How has it impacted how you call the game, manage those late game situations, end of half situations? How does it affect you?
Yeah, I think number one for me, I'm always labeled a defensive guy. That's where I grew up. So I've tried to spend, I learned from a time at Missouri as a head coach, some blind spots that I had on some things I needed to get better at. And I've spent a lot of time with NFL staffs since, I guess, 2019, just in the off season on in-game management skills and what that looks like, and charts and analytics and graphs and things that are going to help you manage a game. And then for me, the way that I study every single week, my checklist of things that I've got to hit to be prepared for a team on situational football. I went overboard this last offseason on spending time with a number of people in the NFL that I respect that could already give me the answers to how they call it with the 2-minute warning built in. Or now we're calling it the 2-minute timeout. So I feel like,
hate it, by the way.
Right. I want to correct myself. It's a 2-minute warning. I feel like I'm prepared for our team to be able to make those decisions, but it's done again for me well in advance of getting into that game situation. When to use the timeout, when to keep it, what that looks like, and then you've got to be able to go apply it and be bold enough. Sometimes when it doesn't seem like you use the timeout to go ahead and use one, or let it go down to the 2-minute time and let things take care of themselves.
Yeah. The NFL, do they have, can you get this question to somebody in the know here? Does the NFL have like a copyright thing with the 2-minute warning that's keeping them?
Because of all the discussion that we have now received, there's got to be something to it. There's a story behind the story. Got to be.
It's insane. I get corrected at every corner by calling it the 2-minute warning. And then final thing, before I let you roll, I want to take a little off camera conversation on air, at least a little bit. I know you said you're done with riding bulls, but you're right there in the center. The UFC Apex is there. Maybe to raise some money, we could get you in there. We could get a flyweight, a bantamweight, lightweight, somebody like that. You get in the ring for 3 to 5 minutes and start sparring. We could give you the headgear. We can handle that.
I've always been described in my body weight style as husky. Even back like second grade little kid had to wear husky jeans. I don't care if they say, hey, you're going against a 105-pound dude. I'm going to say not only no, but hell no. I'm not stepping inside a ring with any those guys. I'm wired a little different. They're even different than different.
Have you had someone approach you with something like that?
So
is that what you were telling me?
I think someone in the city thought, oh, this would be a great idea. He's crazy enough to get on a bull. I bet we could throw a ticket item out there to raise money again for your team and put you in the ring. What do you think about it? And I respectfully declined.
It's probably the right decision. Well, Coach, you the man. I appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the season. Certainly good luck this weekend against Utah Tech.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you, Gabe. Great to see you, man. Take care.
Yes, sir.